Reseller Clickbait Podcast, episode number 98. What's
Ken.
up, Cory? Cory
98's a big
Cory
number.
Grams and Pops. SSKPromo.
SSKPromo.
Yeah. You know, we're back. We didn't do an episode last week, and I forgot. We didn't tell anybody that we weren't doing an episode. So,
Well, our one fan watched, and our one fan realized.
We had a few people that were upset. The one thing, the important thing that I learned is you do not want to. Yeah.
I only know of one.
Well, I had some people that reached out and said, "Hey, where's the episode?" You know, personally, like, "Oh, did you guys not do an episode this week?" And but I learned that the last thing you want to do is upset a disgruntled octopus that is hell-bent on world domination. And but I think I've talked us back into, you know, we're on the protected list. You know, should his plan ever come to fruition, we're back on the protected list. But yeah, it was.
I'm glad somebody noticed.
Yeah, well, they did. People did notice. We were. We didn't film an episode because I went to Nashville last week for
It was Ken's fault.
It was my fault directly. Yep. And it's also my fault that we didn't mention it. I guess I should have said that at the end of the last episode that we did, episode 97.
Well, it was a good exercise just to see if anybody actually did pay attention.
Yes.
It's nice to know that we were
and
missed,
they did.
even if it was just by like your family.
Yeah. my mother, breakdancing Judy, she's like,
"Where's
you
Ken?
guys didn't do an episode this week?" It's like, well, you knew I was gone. Anyway, but had a good time. Had a good time in Nashville. Really, really fun meetup. Shout out to Ray, Nashville Flippers, for kind of organizing that. Not kind of organizing that. He did organize that. And put it together. Just met a bunch of new people. It's just a fun time when you go to the meetups to hang out with or meet new people, get to learn them, and then, you know, hook up with old friends that you haven't seen for maybe since the last meetup, or because we're all from all over the country.
Oh.
We went one evening to a dinner, and just a few of us. There was like 6 of us. And the waitress come over and said, "Oh, are you celebrating anything tonight? Or, you know, where y'all from? Are you local?" And it was like, "Oh, we're actually from all over the place." And so, you know, sitting at the table is, well, Jill and I, you know, from Ohio, and we had Florida and Minnesota and Michigan and Maryland. And it was just, you know, interesting that you hang out with these people from all over that you, other than being resellers and being on, you know, YouTube, you wouldn't ever.
I wonder if they see that.
Cross paths.
I wonder if they see that a lot, being Nashville, kind of a tourist destination. I wonder if they see that more often than most places.
I would imagine that they get, but, you know, probably, you know, groups of people or whatever that are from the same place. And but yeah, just a really great time. It was relaxing. We kind of ate a lot. We ate a lot. One food event to the next food event, and that's good.
One word I would never use to describe a reseller event: relaxing. They're a ton of fun, but they're never like, I'm worn out. I'm exhausted. I think it's my social, my social limit had been passed by the end of every event. Like, I'm ready to go home and just be not
chill
around people.
Cory's not the biggest people person.
Oh, I love it when I'm there. It just, you're full up when you get ready to leave. It's not relaxing at all. It's very,
it was it just, I don't know. It's too much to go into, other than it was I did sign a bunch of headshots while I was there. The Nashville exclusive headshot right there. So that was fun. And then you come back and you see all of the posts. Yeah. Kristen, a rural squirrel, listed hers, and Deanna from Vendu was one of the folks that was there. She was there kind of as helping out, being one of the sponsors, but also just, you know, being resellers themselves. Her and Faith and Paul from My Reseller Genie were there as well. And But they were there mostly just hanging out, being resellers, and you didn't hear a lot of businessy sort of pitching. They were just there having fun. Great folks, and really enjoyed.
I don't think they have to pitch their business very much. They're kind of the only one that does what they do.
Yeah.
There's not much pitching required for that one. And Faith and Paul are great people too. If you meet them, you just want to buy whatever they have anyway.
And that one dinner that I was just talking about was Paul was from My Reseller Genie was there, and I've talked to him before at other events, but it's mostly like, hey, hi, we're My Reseller Genie, nice to meet you, that sort of thing, but it was really cool just to sit and hang out and BS about whatever else that wasn't reselling, that wasn't business
kind of like being
related.
At the photo shoot where they do the like sitting on the sidelines of the photo shoot where they take a picture of the world's tallest man and the world's shortest lady next to each other.
Yes. Yeah, because I think Paul was the tallest one at the event, because at one point in time when Paul Philly Flipper was there, and then Dustin from Nashville Flippers, as soon as they met up the first time, they were sizing one another up to see who was the tallest, and then Paul from My Reseller Genie showed up.
I'm sure Paul probably used to being the tallest one around in most rooms.
Yeah, I would imagine so. But a great time. Can't say enough about it. Can't say enough about meetups in general. Just
so are
tons
you
of
recovered?
Folks. And then, am I recovered? Yeah,
I would say
we drove to Nashville. It's about 7 hours. The trip there was just like, it's a very easy trip because it's almost, Nashville is almost directly south, and so once you get to the interstate, it's almost like two directions. It's like get to the interstate on like 71, and then get on 65, and then get off the exit, and there's the hotel. There's like really not much directions. You just have 7 hours in between that of driving.
It was funny when I heard what hotel you guys were staying at. It's actually a hotel that I used to stay at probably 4 or 5 times a year. I used to stay at that same hotel when I had I think it was my last actual day job, normal job.
Okay.
We used to have to travel down to Goodlettsville, and that's the hotel we always stayed at when we were down there. So it was kind of cool to hear you Tennessee there.
Which was cool because it's kind of like, I guess, a suburb of Nashville, but it's kind of all incorporated. So it's much cheaper on the hotel to stay there. But still, 15, 20 minutes, you're just about anywhere that you wanted to be in Nashville as far as the places that we were going. And so, yeah, I don't want to go in because there's all kinds of videos out there, and it's so cool to see the videos and stuff from the event from somebody else's point of view, what they saw, who they hung out with, who they met. And it's okay. I'm a people person myself, and I love to, exactly. If you haven't figured that out yet, and I try to make sure that I introduce myself, take a few minutes with everybody. I'm around there, and of course, got to give them a headshot. But it was, and then I see photos, or I see Instagram posts or videos, and I'm like, where was this person? How did I not meet them? And they're from a channel that might be sizable, or a new channel starting up. There's a number of folks there that didn't do YouTube at all. They were just viewers and resellers, and
those are some of my favorite people.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time, and because a lot of time you see those folks, they kind of are out on the fringes. They're there in the group, but they're kind of sitting over to the side because they don't have that, I guess, YouTube. They have the YouTube connection from the viewer side, but not from being content creators. And
And they're usually
And
some of
I
them
always,
are the better resellers I've met have been
oh yeah,
people like
definitely.
their whole focus is on reselling, not YouTube. It's not split, and they're I've met a few really incredible resellers that
Yes. And
nobody
there
ever heard
was
of before.
some there as well. And I always, try to go sit and talk to the folks, or you can tell when some people it's like, oh, I want to meet, this person, or they're kind of standing on the outside. I always try to drag them in and say, hey, did you get to meet? Or after I've met and introduced myself, I can, grab somebody from the group, hey, Ray, did you meet such and such? Or, and then they
The
kind of get their
facilitator
few
of
minutes
people
to,
interactions.
I'm an ambassador for everybody's event, whether it's mine or not. And I like everybody to be included. I like everybody to feel welcome, and to feel a part of the group, and get get their few minutes if they're kind of a little bit timid and don't want to walk up to somebody, because some people get starstruck, or is that what you call it, starstruck, over seeing somebody that they watch, somebody that might have a real big channel, and
I've
I'm
never
sure
understood that. I've never been able to get my head around being being starstruck, but I do know some that is a thing. Like there are people that just get really nervous.
And I'm sure that most everybody was starstruck getting to see me, the DOG.
I guess that I could kind of get it when you're talking about it like that.
Yeah, they're thinking, oh man, I want to go up and say hi. But see, I don't give them an opportunity, because I'm going to go to them first and just say hi and smile and shake their hand and give them a hug, whatever it is.
Give them a hug. It's really tough not to have a good time at one of those events. If you put that many resellers in any location, it's really difficult to have a bad time. Like it'd be really hard to plan a bad event.
Yeah.
As long as you can get some resellers there and have those people to talk to, because they're your people.
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
You go back home and you're there talking, like me and Grams, we talk to each other, but there's not a lot of other resellers around here. So
yeah,
it's cool to go to those events. Like I said, it's really hard to mess that up. As long as you can get a few other resellers there, people are going to have a good time.
The part that I like is getting past that open introduction thing, where oh, you have a channel, what do you sell, what do you do, the reselling stuff, and then just start to be able to chit chat about things and stuff, and have fun, talk about their area, where they might have came from, that sort of thing. And it was a very cool event too, because there was no how do you exclusivity. It wasn't like, top tier names separating themselves from everybody else. It was like everybody was it was one big happy group, and a really great turnout.
You were one of the top tier names. You just didn't even notice it.
Maybe I didn't notice it because I was on the in crowd, but I always made sure to drag in everybody. But
always looks peachy when you're one of the cool kids.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But got to go sourcing, and that's very cool to see the videos from people that went to the yard sales or went to the bins. There was an event where went to the flea market. People went to the Nashville flea market. People went to the bins. A lot of people that day went to yard sales on their own. There was a big community sale in that area. Jill and I had only went out on Friday and hit yard sales, and we hit some and found some really good stuff. We just decided to chill on no, I don't. Well, maybe. Well, the key, Corey, is listing the stuff and getting it out there.
Will it pay for your gas?
Yeah, I got enough profit to pay for the gas. Yeah, I found a couple really good items that I bought well, and so just got to get them.
Was it a big community sale, or was it just garage sales over the weekend?
There was a community sale that I know that a lot of people went to, and got some good stuff. But then there was just, being a bigger city, there was a lot of sales, listed in the area, and everybody's, on the app and the garage sale apps and the marketplace. And
we were in the middle of one of our largest community. Well, it is the largest community sale for this area this past weekend while you were in Vegas. And it just happened to land on the same time. Like,
I went to Vegas
for
too.
Almost a week. Not Vegas, Nashville. See, I'm not all
Vegas?
there today.
Okay.
So yeah, we were in the middle of that. Like we've been kind of under the weather for about a week because our daughter works at a daycare and she brings the plague home every other week. So fighting, not feeling great, and then the largest community sale in this area, they had it same weekend here. We were out at that, and that was it. I mean, those are good and bad. They kind of suck when they advertise them so heavily. Yeah, and everybody is there, and there's so many sales you couldn't possibly hit. I think there were over somewhere between 200 and 300 sales.
Really?
And they started Monday, and they ended Sunday.
Okay.
So it was just a week long.
So if you're not getting there right out of the gate, they're probably getting picked over pretty quick. Or
we did really good our first day. We went Wednesday as our first day. That's when the majority of the sales opened for the first time.
Okay.
So we did really good. We filled the car that day. But the prices were high. I mean, you had to work for it. You had to, people weren't willing to negotiate very much because they knew they had they knew they were coming into a weekend when there was people from 4 or 5 states coming over to go to these sales.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that too. Okay, there's a question. I noticed that too. I went out this week. This week was great, though. The weather was good, and it was the first time this season that I actually went to yard sales with a plan in mind. As far as most of the ones that I've hit so far, just in driving, I see a sign, stop, whatever, might see something. No, not a plan for actually how I'm sourcing, but a plan for, where I actually mapped out stuff, went on Marketplace, went on the, whatever that GSLR, I don't know. What is it? GSALR or something like that. Garage sale app or yard sale treasure map. And mapped out things, here's sales in the area. Where do I want to drive to? What do I want to hit? And actually followed along. And so I wasn't like at a community sale where they knew a lot of people were going, but I did notice that so far in the ones I've hit, it seems like even yard sale prices are up at all of the yard sales. Like people were negotiating on stuff, but it just seemed in general, stuff that you might have paid $1 and $2 for is now, $4, $5, $10.
At the big community sale that they like, the big sale, they call it Kingswood Rummage around here. Okay. It's like that was really up. Everything was really up for that one. Okay. But they also know they're basically going to have 3-4 days of eBay traffic walking into their actual garage. They charge what they want. Yeah. They don't have to negotiate. And they're still going to make sales because people are coming from literally states over to come up here for this one. But in general, if we got off of the beaten path, like if we went to a town over that was also having a little community sale at the same time, the prices weren't terrible and people were still negotiating at those. It's just it got to a point where everything got so picked over. By the first day we filled the car, by the time we came back the second day, we went home with basically nothing. And part of it was pricing, like you were saying. Part of it was just crazy pricing because they knew they were going to have that traffic. And part of it was the garage sales had been just hammered already.
Just so many people coming in to the area and hitting them. And I didn't do any community sales. Mine, there were a couple in my area that yesterday it was rainy. I did very well on Friday at the sales, and it was like, okay, if I get up in the morning and the weather's decent, I'll make the drive down south a little bit and hit a couple community sales. But I got up and it was, like I said, it was raining, and And I thought, well, I did hit a few sales in town yesterday when I went out to, I had to go to the post office. So Jill and I had done a Whatnot show on Friday night. And so I had a bunch of packages. I wanted to get those out the door. And so driving out to the post office, you pass by some of the better neighborhoods that usually have sales. And so I start seeing signs and it's like, oh, now I got to get there. And went to one that was like an estate sale, and the basement was filled with one person. They had a whole bunch of like Miller Lite beer stuff, everything, signs and neons and inflatables and, you know, cars and vehicles and shirts and clothing and hats. And you know, I looked around, her prices were a little high, and it's like, I didn't really want to spend the money. That was, one of the first sales that I wanted to go to that was advertised. They had a blow mold that I had seen in a picture, a little angel blow mold. And that's where I kind of started to notice that the prices were a little bit up. And she was asking like $25 for it, which was not a bad price, but there wasn't enough profit. It was probably a $40 to $50 if you list it. And, you know, I'm not going to, when I'm looking at those numbers, I'm not going to pay 25 to get 50, especially after the fees.
They used to really kind of drive me away when I went. I went to garage sales and I'm expecting somewhere between $1 and $5 as prices aren't like that's your price point. That's your standard.
Yes.
So when I used to see a $25, $30 price tag on something, it used to just be like, nope, you're crazy. And I'd ignore it. Now it makes me more curious than anything. Why is it that price? Yeah. And I started looking it up, and we have found a few cool deals that way, but usually it's just somebody that's crazy.
Yeah. It was a fair price for that. If you were looking for it, not for resale,
for yourself,
if you were just looking for it, for yourself, it would have been a decent price. And, you know, because they had it in their pictures for their sale. And when I went up and, you know, to the sale, I was like the first one there. Because I figured out where I thought that the sale was. I thought it was like way across town. So I like actually left a little bit early. And right before I left, I thought, well, I'm gonna GPS this to see where it goes. Well, it turns out it's like just like right around the corner from my house. I literally pass this street every day.
Save you some driving.
And so now I was like kind of extra early to the sale, and it was raining, and so all the stuff was still stuffed in the garage. And I get in there, and then she's like, "Oh, are you looking for anything in particular?" I said, "Well, I saw a little angel blow mold in your photos." And she's like, "Yeah, I lost it." I'm like, "You just posted the pictures yesterday."
Picture of it.
So, well, we had the box all of the stuff back up or something like that. And I can't find what box. So they went in the house and found it, and then they brought it out. Then I was disappointed that I made them go search for it, and then I wasn't going to buy it because they wanted more than I wanted to pay. And I told her, yeah, it's a little bit more than, you know, what I was thinking. And you know, I said, what would your best? She said, I'd probably still be in the $20 range. And even at that, you know, in the rest of the day, I can buy a whole lot more for $20 or $25 that has tons more profit, better sell-through rates. I hated leaving it behind because, you know, blow molds, and it was one that had a pretty decent sell-through rate. So I don't know. Maybe people would weigh in on that. You know, will you pay 25 to make 50 on something that has, I'd say, a decent sell-through rate, not 100%. It wasn't,
in January,
I'd say it's to be 50.
Maybe. When there's no garage sales and things are hard to source in January, maybe. In the thick of garage sale season, when things are abundant, that $20 can go to work a lot better for you. $1 at a time, probably not.
Yeah.
Now that's me. With Teresa, probably. Like she shops completely different than I do. So
yeah.
And I just let her do her thing. As long as she's making money, I don't. I grumble about it, but I stay out of her way.
It's eventually profit, but yeah, I could spend, and I did spend that money. So I went to. I'm driving around, and I see a sign for a sale on a street that's like part of the street is one way, and then it turns into two way. And I was kind of at that crossroads, and I couldn't go left because that was the one way came this way.
Yep.
So I went right, and I went all the way down to the street, crossed the other main street, down, no sale. And I'm thinking, I don't want to have to, drive all the way to the other end. But I'm at that point, I was just chasing signs. And it's like, well, it's not like I had to walk there. It's like, come on, Ken, quit being lazy. You're in a vehicle. You don't have to walk back up to the end of the street. Just turn around. So I did drive back to the end and come down the one way, and the sale was there. And man, was it a great sale. It was fun. And the lady was truly
if it was slightly inconvenient to find and get to, those are some of the best ones.
Yeah, and this one would be for where I saw their signage. It was, you only had to come in from that one end. But this was a sale where the lady was truly just wanting to get rid of everything. Some of the stuff was priced, some of the stuff was not priced, and anything that wasn't priced, it's like, how much you want for this? 50 cents, $1, 50 cents. And I just kept, by the end, I had got a couple of boxes from them, couple of big size boxes, and I just kept filling them, putting more and more in it. How much is this? 50 cents. And so then I would yell out my total. Every time I would bring something back to the box, I'd be like, $11, $12.
Keep it going.
$13.50, keeping, her up on it. But it was clothing.
I love sales like that because you don't have to negotiate. You're just buying it. You're just making your pile,
putting it in the box, and I'd hold something up, and she, I got to the point where I would just like pick something up off the table and I'd hold it up in the air, and she'd go, $14, and I'd put it in the box. At one point it started to rain. I kept doing it. It was raining. So she had just brought out these shoes, and she was stacking up all these shoes on the table, and then it started to rain. So I was just grabbing armloads of shoes to take them into the garage, just to help the folks out, because they couldn't cover it up. And then as soon as you get stuff in the garage, it would stop raining, and then you haul it out. So I got this whole armload of shoes, and I said, like, well, how much are your shoes? And she's like, 50 cents a pair. And I'm like, and I'm looking, and I've got Sperry's, I've got Sperry sandals, I've got Timberland boots that were like basically brand new. Couple of other brands that were decent brands of shoes. So I picked up, half a dozen pair of shoes at 50 cents a pair. Clothing was, if it was like a short sleeve or a t-shirt, it was 50 cents. If it was a long sleeve or a coat or whatever, $1 on the table. And I went through, got a shoe graphic tees.
We got a shoe education this week too. Growing up, my mom she had this saying that she always tell us, and I think she just told us because we were poor and we were disappointed a lot. So she would always just tell us, God doesn't always give you what he wants or what you want. He gives you what you need. Like that was her go-to for whenever we couldn't have anything.
Didn't Rolling Stones sing a song about that?
I think so. That's okay. Certainly she would have gotten it from somewhere. She wasn't a philosopher.
I would sing it, but we don't need the copyright strike. So
no, we don't need that in case we get
non-monetized.
But we were. Okay. I think this weekend God thought maybe we needed an education in shoes and a reason to stay away from shoes. So gotcha. He certainly gave us that because we thought we found a pair of shoes this weekend, and we looked at them and they were weird and they looked out of place. They were at a neighborhood that was in an upscale neighborhood. Everything around them, like Nikes and some expensive stuff.
Yeah.
So we went over there and we took the camera app and we did a Google image search on the shoes, and the lowest price ones that were like worn out and stuff on eBay were like $100 and up, all the way up to like $200 in some cases.
What shoes were they?
Well, we didn't know. We just saw they were like the foam printed cross runner type shoe, like the slip-on ones. Turns out when you image search them, they were Yeezys.
Yeezy. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those are high dollar sought after shoes.
standing in nowhere, South Dakota, and finding a pair of Yeezys should have been the first clue that, hey, dummy, no, this isn't legit. Something's wrong here. But it never registered because we didn't know what they were. I'd never heard of them before. I had no idea what they were. We just saw they were like foam cross runners or whatever they called them.
They weren't Yeezys then?
We found out later after buying them, of course. We spent like $10 on them. Okay. We got them home and we started checking. Actually, we did. We questioned it as soon as we started putting them up and they were that price. We were like, wait, if these are that popular, are they faked? So we started looking into it, and Teresa downloaded an app called Check. I think that's the name of it.
Check. Yeah, definitely heard of that.
So she did Check, and she did all the photos. They have you take 4 or 5 photos or whatever of the shoes and send it in. And like a half an hour later, it comes back and it said that they were fake.
Okay.
But the reason it gave them fake was because of appearance. And that was the only rean. It didn't tell you why.
Okay.
So she's like arguing with the app. She's like, what do you mean appearance? like that's not a reason. These aren't fake. They're real. So she went through the whole denial and acceptance and denial and acceptance.
Yes.
And then we were going to post them on. She thought about just posting them on eBay because they are high enough dollar shoes. They would have went through authentication.
Yeah.
And just let them go that route. But in the end, we did find a resource where we could go in and figure out if they were real or not. So Check was very vague.
Helpful. Okay.
It was vague, but it was correct. It was correct. It did get them. They were fake. So we did identify them as fake, and we're buying fake stuff again. But this was
you're getting good at that. You're getting good at buying knockoffs and fakes, Corey. You should go into
things by process of elimination.
Uh-huh.
We got to do it wrong first so that we learn how to do it right.
Well, hey, yeah. I used to say that all the time when I used to work and, manage over people and stuff like that. It's like, if you didn't have a problem today, you probably didn't learn anything. If the day went perfect, at the end of the day, you didn't, it is those things of buying something. Well, like the Yeezys you bought. Now you know what to look for. If you are in South Dakota and find a stray pair of Yeezys.
Thought about sending them over, just box them up and send them over to our fellow podcaster, Dan and Demand, because they're a women's size 10.
Okay.
That's his size. I happen to know.
Okay.
So we thought about sending them over to him, but I think Teresa's going to keep them for now. She talked about painting them pink and wearing them as Barbie shoes, so we'll see what happens.
When you said Dan, it reminded me. Yesterday was the Kentucky Derby. And I picked the winning horse, Mystic Dan. I always look down. I don't know much about the, and I was like betting on it. Well, our family.
You should have.
We do a little betting thing that we bet on the Kentucky Derby and then the two other, the Triple Crown races. And I don't know anything about horse racing, and I usually look down through. I understand what the odds are, but I usually look for a name that sticks out to me. And for whatever reason, Mystic Dan stood out. He wasn't a favorite. He's probably like maybe 5, 6, 7, something like that in the odds, and it just stuck out to me. And
Mystic Dan
so
sounds like a great YouTube name. Maybe Dan should change his name
to Mystic Dan. Maybe Mystic one of his channels.
New channel idea.
But yeah, the yard sale. So I'm going to go back a little bit too, because Corey, I should film content. I should make more content.
I think I've said this before.
And the sales, because I need to do some content, because after the meetup, you meet new people and you hand out stickers and everything, and you get some new subs, and then being in other people's videos, I picked up a bunch of subs. Paul Philly Flipper, one of his latest videos, had Jill and I in it, out with him on the sales and stuff, and he kind of gave me a shout out, and I picked up subs there. And just, meeting people, I was getting them. So I need to put out some content. But this one sale that I went to, I was just talking about, it was content gold with everything, because I had people singing Christmas carols. They had
people singing.
They had one of the items that they had was a Christmas tree, and it was like a pre-lit Christmas tree. And there was these two other ladies that were customers at the sale that I see at other sales all the time. I need to reach out to these folks. I need to talk to them because I see them all the time and say, "Hey, are you guys resellers? You know, what do you do?" Blah blah blah. But they were wanting to see if this tree was working. So the lady takes it over, like she picks it up, she takes it over to the corner of the garage where there's a plug. And so I see what's going on. So I just go stand by the group like I'm waiting for this tree. And the other two ladies are looking at me like, "Why are you here?" And so I'm just participating in this tree lighting ceremony. And so she plugs it in and all the lights come on. And I give it the old, Clark Griswold, when he finally gets the lights, joy to the world. I'm just like singing and they're all looking at me. And then I start into, "We wish you a Merry Christmas." And then I'm just like, "Come on." And I go, come on, you know the words. You guys, come on. "We wish you a Merry Christmas." And then I got them to sing, "We wish you a Merry Christmas," reluctantly. And then I just turn around and walk away. Just go back to what I'm doing after I got them. And they end up, they didn't buy the tree. After all, it was a pretty tree. I should have bought the tree because I could have probably got it for next to nothing.
You could have got a cut from the garage sale if you'd sold the tree.
I could have probably talked those ladies into it.
Just slide up into a garage sale and work on commission for an afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, I'm all the time doing that at sales. If somebody's looking at something and at the same sale, they had this little like a Samsung pad, like a Samsung Note
tablet,
computer pad, tablet. There you go. That's the word. And I think she had $10 on it, but it wasn't working. She didn't have any power cord. She didn't have anything. She wasn't even sure if it worked. And somebody had come up, a younger kid, and he was asking the lady that ran the sale about it. And she's like, how much do you want for it? And she said, "Well, it has $10 on there, but I'll negotiate. What do you want to give for it?" And the kid was just like very timid, and he's looking at his mom, and she says, "Tell her what you think you want to pay for it." And so I walk by, and like in a loud whisper, I go, "Tell her you'll give her $5 for it," and then just keep on going. And then the lady that was running the sale, because they were like super fun, she's like, would you pay $5 for it?" And the kid was like, he just got all excited. He's like, "Yeah, I would do that." So, I'm helping negotiate deals for customers, and it was just a super fun sale. And I bought two big boxes of stuff.
This sounds
and
like
a big metal rail sled.
You don't have to go all the way to Nashville. You could sell tickets to go garage selling with Ken.
And that would be a fun experience.
There you go.
You come, I'll broker your deals. The Ken sourcing experience. But see, if I should make videos of that, because it's mostly to watch the what solds or the sort, not the what solds, but watch the sourcing videos. A lot of times it's just, people walking around yard sales. Yep. It's the interactions with the folks that make it fun and make it entertaining. And so I need to do that. And maybe
but I could tell you, if you're going to disappoint people, it's a lot easier to disappoint them without making content. If you have to add the content on top of it and still disappoint them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier just to take the direct path
of just no content at all, or and that's been my plan. That's been my plan. I should do that because pretty much I do my Ken versus 10 over on my channel. I was thinking about that, what things that I could do with that but it's almost like I'm doing something unique, Cory. I'm doing it's like a what sold in reverse. It's like, people say, "Hey, I'm going to show this stuff," and go, Guess what? This week, none of that stuff sold.
I'm just going to go pick up my really old inventory and be like, man, I wish this would sell.
Yeah. This has, I had a couple of sales just yesterday of one of those items where, if you touch it, it'll sell. It'll sell. Yep. And because when Jill was over on Friday, she saw a box of like some keychains that I had, and she got in the box and was kind of looking at them. And then I didn't even know that. And I was telling her yesterday about these sales of these keychains, and she just kind of got all smiley, and she's like, that's because I touched them. I got in that box and I touched them, and I had two different.
I don't know why
one person bought 4 of them and another person just bought 1. And it's on a trial thing that I'm doing. I have a bunch of these keychains, and they're the same thing. They're a Little Caesars pizza keychain. And so I have 2 different listings. I have one listing where they are $1.99 with the buyer paying shipping. Okay. And then I have a listing where they are $6.99 with free shipping. So in the end, it's going to work out. I'm going to make about the same amount on each one.
Right.
And I found them at the Goodwill bins. And so I literally have a couple of pennies in it because there was this big, huge bag of them. And so I'm doing this test, and most of them I have sold at the $1.99 price with paying the shipping, with the buyer paying shipping. But these 2 sales were at the $6.99 free shipping.
It'd be interesting to see where that ends up.
Yeah, the one order, the person bought 4 of them at $6.99 a piece, which is great because for me having to pay the shipping, it's 4 keychains doesn't weigh much more than 1. If it takes it, from a 4-ounce category to an 8-ounce category, that's just, a few cents anyway. And so, that's a process that I'm going through to see which one. Yeah. Most of them have been, and right after I listed them, I've had them for, I don't know, probably got them back in late winter or something like that. And I've had them listed, and right away I sold a number of them. So I was in the profit like almost instantly. So I have this opportunity to play with this item and, put the price up, put the price down, change things around. I let them sit for a while. They always constantly have watchers on them. And then because of the pricing, the price is already, I don't usually sell $1.99 stuff. Most of the things I list, I like to try to find things that are.
That's probably a good policy.
Like 15, yeah, exactly. $15 or more is usually kind of the price point, the lowest end. That's a whole nother topic. But
we've been trying to find more multi-quantity stuff. It's so hard to find decent multi-quantity stuff. Like,
yes,
we have some that we have 2 of or 3 of or something like that. But to have more, like, we've been actively searching for that. But it's tough. We did run into one deal this weekend. We bought, I think there was 9 of them. We bought 9 new in the box bike racks that mount to the back of your car.
Oh, okay.
So they were all at this
heavy
one garage
items.
Sale.
Bigger, heavier sort of items.
Yeah, they're a good size item. Like, they're going to ship in a big box, and they're fairly heavy. But the sell-through rate was about 60%. It wasn't great, but the price is good. Like, the profit on them is going to be good because I think we ended up paying like $3 a piece for them.
Oh, really?
And they're going to sell for probably 40 to 60, depending on where we put them on the market. And we have 9, so. But there's only 9 of them, so they're going to go quick. But we've been trying to look for stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there were 60 to 70 of these keychains, all the same thing.
That's perfect. One listing and done.
Yeah, and so one listing, and then I did that modification to see what would do better, and But yeah, all of that.
It'd be interesting to see if the results of that change on a higher priced item, like does free shipping versus not free shipping, do the results of that change if the item is a $15 item versus $1.99 item.
Yeah, true. Well, there you go, Corey. Buy a whole bunch of big stuff.
There
Free
you go.
shipping. I'll leave that test to you. I'll leave the higher dollar stuff on your end. I'll sell my $1.99 keychains. But it's cool because they sell regularly, and it's always just, another thing, another sale, gets more activity. There's always watchers on it. There's always, stuff going on, sending offers. So I think it's beneficial. And especially since I'm in the profit on them already, I can sell them at whatever.
Yeah, you can just play with them now.
And yeah, at this point. So that was a good.
Maybe I should trade you. You send me a case of those over, and I'll send you a pair of fake Yeezys. We'll do some trading. What a bargain! Here.
So, what are you going to do with the Yeezys? Are you going to sell them as fakes, or are you just going to chalk it up to that's a loss? And
no, I think Teresa's actually going to paint them pink and wear them to our redneck days here. We have a big event coming up in June that we put on every year, where we do axe throwing and horseshoes and bean bags and have a big barbecue and stuff like that. So she'll probably paint them pink and wear them to that, and then after that we'll probably just burn them. They'll end up in the campfire that night.
Man, those summer events are coming up quick.
It's been a lot of work.
Redneck days and
You
were telling me
spent
you're
all day
revamping
yesterday.
the whole yard.
Yeah, well, we're cleaning the yard up and we're getting things ready. And I spent all day yesterday pouring concrete and digging holes because we're putting up a big pergola for shade. Because we usually put up those, like the tent canopy ones.
Oh, like the easy up canopy things, and that blow away
South Dakota,
instantly.
And the wind always blows 400 miles an hour, so we always have issues with those. So this year we're actually putting up a pergola for people to sit under for shade, because it's kind of a hot part of the yard. If the sun's out, it gets a little sunny out there.
Yeah. Corey, every week that we talk, I don't think that you should be an ambassador for South Dakota, like, the Travel and Visitors Bureau or whatever.
Perfect ambassador for South Dakota.
To have people not show up?
Yes.
Or, the wind blows 400 miles an hour. It's raining. It's winter until like June.
If you're from anywhere outside of the Midwest, South Dakota's motto is, "We don't want you." Stay away. Do not move here.
South Dakota, no thanks. Stay just right on the roadside. Welcome.
No thanks.
Welcome to South Dakota. No thanks. Please turn around now.
Yep.
We don't like drifters. But yeah, we hadn't talked for a little bit when I was gone, and it seems like we struggle coming up with either topics, and then all of a sudden we had like 400 topics that we could talk about, things that we haven't done, and I want to go back to I want to complain for a second. A pet peeve of mine, when we were talking about going to the sales and using like the garage sale app and the marketplace to find yard sales, sometimes it's a struggle to find where the sales are. If you're like my particular area, when I use that GSALR app or yard sale treasure map, people don't use that much here, but all you got to do is just go south a little bit where I like to source, and it's very populated in the sales there. But right in my immediate area, you'll get a few stragglers, people that'll post something. But then so I use the marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, and local groups that have listed stuff. Okay, here's my plea. Here's my pet peeve. If your garage sale is over, take your post down.
That's a losing battle.
It's just take it down. Because you go and you're looking at, because I drove kind of like way outside of town yesterday on a sale to find a sale that was like the last week. But people will put in there, they'll put, okay, here's another thing. If you're not going to take it down, how about at least put a date? Yeah. People that list these things on the marketplace, and they'll put like yard sale tomorrow and Saturday. It's like,
what tomorrow?
Well, when did you put, how about,
Last month.
May the 4th, May the 3rd and 4th, Friday and Saturday from time to time. And then when your sale's done, take it down. Just take there.
That
There
would
you
be
go. I'm going to make
nice.
a shirt. Just take it down. That's it.
It would be nice, especially for, I know we were talking a little bit about, like, you have an Android phone and I have an iPhone. We have this battle between Teresa and I all the time. Like, she'll have her Android phone up and she can filter on Facebook Marketplace by when something was listed.
Okay.
And on the iPhone app, that filter just doesn't seem to exist. Like, I can't find it. I even gave her my phone and she's looking for it. It's like, no, it's not there. So the apps are different. So I can't even filter and say, well, just show me the ones listed in the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
I just have to flat out guess.
Yeah. And that's interesting that the apps are that much different.
They're quite a bit
because that's,
different.
I had said that to you earlier when I was bitching about people not taking their things down. It was, and you said that you couldn't, because I said the same thing. Well, just filter.
Yep.
I try to filter them on the day that they were listed. If it's, Wednesday, usually Wednesday evening, I sit and I, plan out my route, what I'm going to do and where I'm going to go, try to decide what I want to hit first. And sorting those, but there's still a lot of them that are listed. Just take it down. Here you go.
It seems like they stay listed all summer long. They just keep getting more and more.
Yeah. And when that's your best source for finding. And then what happens too is you'll get some groups on the marketplace, like say local groups, and it's like this site is for listing garage sales only. That's it. That's all it's for, is listing yard sales, garage sales, estate sales.
They never stay
that's
that
it.
way.
Don't list your, and I guess that's the moderators or the administrators or whatever that don't keep up on it, because immediately it's just filled with everybody's crap that they're selling. And then you get the one person that lists like everything in their house, I think, is what happens. They're trying to run an eBay or a reselling business on local marketplace.
There's a lot of people that do that.
So, there's lots of people, and I'm sure that they do well, or they wouldn't keep doing it. But it's painful when you go, oh, okay, let's click on there's yard sales in the area, and it's the same person has the first 15 or 20 listings, and you scroll through, and then if it's by time, like maybe there's a yard sale that's stuck in between theirs, and then you have the same, and it's always the same 3 or 4 people that are listing, every article of baby clothing that they've ever had, one at a time, rather than, hey, let's make a post that I have all of these and get with me.
If you crack the code on baby clothing, here's a tip. If you're out and you see baby clothing, look for baby clothing that's branded bamboo. Like that clothing, bamboo clothing. Yep. And it's got a.
Oh, really? Is this a bolo, as they say?
It's actually got a very unique feel to it. It's a really soft feel. But if that's all they got is baby clothes, if they have that bamboo clothes, and it's really popular nowadays, especially with kids, my kids' age, they're more into it. That stuff has some really good resale value. So I mean, if you crack the code on baby clothing, these garage sales, it would change the buying game.
I don't want to have anything to do with it. I'm not a guy that likes to list clothing. Especially baby clothing,
because it's hard to photograph. Baby clothes would be easy because it's like this big.
This is true. And you get you a baby, like a real life baby, to model it so people can see.
There you go.
And
just borrow the neighbor's kid.
There's a whole lot of problems that go along with that one.
So there are some clothes in the baby clothes world. So
I did pick up some clothing at that one sale that I've been talking about, and I got a real banger, if you will, as the kids say these days. It's like a BMW Motorsports, like a puffy vest.
The car.
Yeah, like the car BMW. Motorsports racing. It's got some cool patches. It's got real cool.
Oh, they make bikes too, I guess.
Yeah.
BMW. They make bikes too, I guess.
I don't know if there was any graphics on it for that, but yeah, I think that might be, looking at some of the stuff, that's probably going to be like a $80 to $100 item. That was like that one, right. since it didn't have like long sleeves or wasn't really a coat, it was 50 cents at that yard sale. It's like, man, I got so much profit at that sale. It's just ridiculous. But
that's those ones you want to go back to. We have not. I think I was telling you the other day, we have not yet this year, and garage sale season just started, so it's early, but
yes,
we have not this year been able to go into a garage sale and just start making a pile. We've not found enough stuff at a good enough sale to where you can't just like carry it up to the register when you're done, or up to the person to pay for it when you're done.
Yeah.
I just want that garage sale where you go in and make the pile.
Yeah.
So we haven't had that yet. I'm anxious to get that. This
was my pile sale right out of the gate, first day. Well, not out of the gate. It was the last sale. It was the last sale that I went to that day. And I'm glad I wasn't lazy. See? I'm glad I wasn't lazy, and I made the effort. I did something. All I did was push the gas pedal, and turn the wheel. That was all I needed to do.
Sometimes that's hard.
And, well, yeah, it's like, because I had already hit a few, and I hit a number of sales that day, and it was kind of the last thing. It's like, I could go home. I was going the direction of my home, and I had to turn around, and, but I'm glad I did.
Sometimes it's easy just to steer the car towards home. It seems that's an easier way to go.
Yes. And eat some lunch, at that point, and I was getting ragged, but
oh yeah,
fun to be out. It's great. It's great to be out at the sales. Super fun week. Last week in Nashville, Cory's been working himself to a frazzle, pouring concrete, doing.
We're coming to an end though. I'm hoping today a lot of that work is done, and I'm surprised it hasn't come up yet in this episode. Like, I'm a little disappointed in you, to be honest. But happy Cinco de Mayo today.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
I'm surprised you didn't show up in a sombrero.
Dude, how did I miss that? Yesterday was, Star Wars Day. I could have at least.
I got you. I got you.
You know what? I am just as disappointed in myself as you are. How did I miss? How did I miss that? I'm looking. See, look at me looking around here. Like, do I have anything?
El Luchador back there.
Oh, there you go. Let's start the episode over. Ready? Hey, Reseller Clickbait Podcast.